For Whitsunday.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and I'm pleased to contribute to the notice of motion moved by the member for Morani. And I know, on behalf of our community, on behalf of Ray Braithwaite OAM, who was so integral in the federal recognition, and those that he represents and his family, thank you for raising what I know is an issue that you are very passionate about, and also having shared those stories and engagements with our local Australian South Sea Islander community, formerly as Deputy Mayor. I know how important it is to the people of our community that recognition is more than just words, that recognition is more than just statements made by a minister, and surely, Mr Deputy Speaker, it is a whole lot more than just $275,000 a year, which would barely, Mr Deputy Speaker, pay for 2 full-time community coordinators, let alone cover any of the issues that have been addressed in this notice of motion by the member for Morani. Just to remind the House that Australian South Sea Islanders were not officially recognised as a distinct ethnic minority group until the Commonwealth did in 1994 upon the advocacy by our local member, Ray Braithwaite. And then the Queensland Parliament formally recognising the Australia South Sea Islander community in July of 2000. And I do note by the Minister that, yes, it was bipartisan. It was supported by Rob Bulbidge on our side of the House, former opposition leader. But I will remind the House as well that in that time we have held government for less than 5 years, and let that then be a testament to the Labor government, who has failed the Australian South Sea Islander community in committing real and meaningful resources to support the community, who has given so much to this state. And I look forward to hearing the member for Mackay's contribution, because our Australian South Sea Islander community built our sugar industry. It was the shameful act of blackbirding that we should all hang our heads in this state. That was the foundation of what is now economic prosperity. We talk about wealth and economic prosperity. Well, we would not have a sugar industry if it wasn't for the hard work of those men and women, of which many my grandfathers and great-grandfathers were beside as well. I'd also like to recognise the continuing advocacy by Madassia as well, our local community organisation that has done so much in educating our local community and more broadly. In particular, a project that I was pleased to support that was led by one of my colleagues, Councillor Fran Mann, that was led by one of our most respected in the Australian South Sea Islander community, Starrett Vivi, which was a coordinated approach of ensuring that we gave recognition to 114 unmarked graves in the Mackay Cemetery, where individuals were honoured with panels and plaques to recognise those names of individuals and their passing, and the enormous work that went into the Cultural and Heritage Committee that was set up to deliver that project in partnership with Madassia. I'd also like to acknowledge what has been a significant contribution that has been made locally in my community with a new film that is actually going to be showcased and shared called Black Snow, which is going to focus on the Australian South Sea Islander history. So not only did they make an enormous contribution to what is the foundation industries in this state, but they are continuing to make an enormous cultural contribution every single day to our community and to the state of Queensland. And this has begun filming earlier this year. It will be played on Stan. It will be telling the stories. And it was filmed more recently in my local town of Proserpine. But it is something that I hope brings an awareness and a greater education to people across our community. And to those opposite, this community, this organisation, where we have the largest population of Australian South Sea Islanders in the Greater Mackay region, deserves more than lip service. And I ask the Minister to not just meet with the member from Morani, but come and spend time. And we ask for tangible and practical outcomes across all government departments, across health, across education, across justice. Real engagement. This is an opportunity that has been ignored for far too long.
Order. Order.
Deputy Speaker.